Welcome aboard. Thanks for clicking on this video and joining in on this part of an ongoing conversation regarding do-it-yourself percussion caps. And just so that everybody will kind of get a feel, I have plenty of the Super Bang caps to last me quite a while. And with that being said, forever always looking to maybe improve, maybe do things a little bit differently, watch some other videos and see what others are doing and maybe incorporate some of that into what I'm doing. By far and large, I'm not an expert at this, but I am very well capable of learning and sharing what I've learned with, you all right here. Some time back, I had watched a video of another feller making his percussion caps out of what would be thin rolled copper sheeting. If you go to a place like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or a really good hobby store, you can find this rolled copper sheeting. Now this particular one that I found at Hobby Lobby, on the bottom of the bottom right here, it'll tell you how thick in thousandths this particular copper sheeting is, and this one was 5 thousandths. I also noted that on the shelf they had some that was 3 thousandths thick. Now I chose the 5 thousandths thick because when it comes to miking the tin can ones, they're also 5 thousandths thick. The ones that are made out of the aluminum cans, I should say. Not tin cans, but aluminum cans. So I made myself up a whole bunch of copper percussion caps. And at this point, you're probably wondering how they turned out. Well, I was mildly surprised and mildly disappointed because I had to maybe redo something the way I would normally make my percussion caps. As I explained in a previous video, I have a block that I set the percussion caps in, and I take and I slice, let me get one here, I slice these just ever so gently and I peel out the compound. Now in these particular Super Bang caps, the compound is actually glued to like a little thin piece of paper. And I would typically put 2 into the percussion cap, put a little bit of black powder on top of it, just to make sure that I have enough of a bang to set the charge off in the revolver or in my long guns. Then I would take it from this board and then I would move it over to this board and resize it down to number 10s. Well, with the aluminum tin can percussion caps, that's not an issue. So what I did is I made several of them out of the new copper foil, and when I went to go and insert those onto my revolver, I had issues. And what I discovered is that even though the copper foil is 5 thousandths thick, equal to the aluminum, they were stronger and I could not get those on my number 10 cones, excuse me, my number 11 cones without deforming the living crap out of them. So I was disappointed. So that's not the end of it. I happened to be in the dollar store the other day, Dollar General, and I happened to notice they had 2 strips of the Super Bang caps on the shelf, and I thought, well, there's a little blue piece of plastic right here, and I thought, well, are these different? Well, I bought the both of them, brought them home, and realized that this is just some sort of cap or plastic cover on top of the Super Bang cap. Thought, well, that's kind of different. But looking at the bang cap itself, they are a little bit different, and you might want to note. First of all, the plastic that's holding these newer bang caps together is a whole lot thinner, and it's easier to tear in between the bang caps. So they're a little bit more difficult to actually work with in getting the compound out. With that being stated, I should also let everybody know that the little white cap, the little white piece of paper, the component that goes bang, even though that itself appears to be solid, the little white piece of paper on top is not. So more than likely, when you go and use this style and try to get out the banging component and the white paper, they're going to separate. Now, with that having been stated, I went ahead and made up some more caps, both the percussion caps with the aluminum can and the percussion cap that I charged, that was the aluminum one, not the aluminum, the copper one, the copper foil. Now, I actually kind of changed things the way I did just a little bit. What I did is, since the paper is now separated, I put the component in the bottom of the cap, and then I broomed a little bit of my black powder on top of that. And then I went ahead and reinstalled the little white piece of paper. And so far they seem to be sticking together. But I've done it in multiple ways. First I put the black powder down, then I put the component on top of that and then sealed it. And then I put the component down, put the black powder on top of that, and then I put the white piece of paper on top of that. So for me to sit here and tell you which is which, I cannot do. So what I am going to do right now is test all of the ones that I've made with these new super bang caps. And I will also tell you, before I forget, I have noticed that in taking these newer ones apart, the component that goes bang is actually a little bit thicker. So it appears to me that they're actually putting more of that component before they put that little white piece of paper on top. But let's see what actually happens. So I have the first 6 that I made with the aluminum cans, and let's see if they're gonna go off. And yes, I'm pointing the revolver in a safe direction. It's not loaded, it's just the cap. That should be all 6. Okay, let me get reloaded and try this again. And like I said, I actually loaded these different. As of right now, I'm actually favoring towards putting the component down first, putting my homemade black powder, brooming some black powder on top, compacting that, and then putting the white card back on top. So let me get reloaded and we'll see if we have success at that point. Okay, before I get into shooting the next 6, just kind of want to make a note here. I myself, other than just experimenting with the do-it-yourself percussion caps, I don't like shooting these consistently. If you go to the channel Old Ranger, you will see that he actually had a chain fire with one of his homemade percussion caps. Personally, I do not like the way the aluminum caps fit on the revolvers, just simply because in my experience, my using these, they just move too much. Thus, the danger of having a chain fire. I have only been using my homemade percussion caps other than just experimenting in front of a camera, I've only been using those on my long guns because there's one nipple and there's no threat of a chain fire. So please bear that in mind if you're going to be making your own homemade percussion caps. And there again, for me, I just did an inventory a couple days ago of my factory percussion caps, and I've got like 2,800 of them. Not 2,800 cans, but I've got 28 cans. That's going to last me quite some time. And that's not counting what I have in my, my shooting pouches already. So, with all of that being stated, all that mumbo jumbo being stated, let's try the next 6. So far, so good. Now on to the copper caps. Alright, now I have the copper caps on the nipples, the cones, and let's see what happens. Well, obviously you could tell that there was a difference in the way that I was loading these, just trying to see which ones are going to be more efficient. And like I stated earlier, I'm actually favoring putting the compound down, putting a little bit of black powder on top of that, and then putting that little white piece of paper on top of all of it. Those are the ones that actually you could tell went off louder. So anyhow, friends, I hope that you can learn something from this. Another precautionary tactic is this. When you put on any homemade percussion cap, whether that be on your long guns, whether it be on your revolvers, if you choose to do so, please, please, please make sure that your firearm is pointed in a safe direction. Now, I've been playing with these percussion caps for a little while now, and I will tell everybody right here, right now, I've only ever had one go off accidentally. Fortunately, the gun was not loaded. I was just playing around and just seeing, you know, what was going to be, what was going to happen. And also, if you're going to use these in loading a revolver, make damn sure when you put the caps on, your hands are behind the front of the revolver. If you tend to load like this and pushing the caps on and something goes off, you've got your finger right in line of a bullet. Be very careful, please. So thanks for watching. Keep your powder dry. May your aiming be straight and your sensibility perfect. Bye.